And for this week's weekly podcast, here's me wrecking everyone.
Welcome to the Immortalis Weekly Podcast. We're calling it 3.5 as we missed last week. I'm your friendly neighborhood swag monster. It is 2:20. I'm joined by regular co-host Lokazil. Thank you for joining me again, Loka.
Hi.
And I have two new guests. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hit it, Miguel. Do it.
Hello, this is your friendly, not swag monster, Miguel. Swag asked me to join this week in entertaining you guys with the podcast, so here I am. Just be mindful that my opinion isn't as strong as others.
Thanks for joining, Miguel, and your opinion is welcome. That's why we brought you on. And our other guest, who will be joining us for 2 consecutive weeks, and that is, go ahead, John.
I'm Jonak13, or as normal humans call me, John. Swag has some suggestions of how I introduce myself. My main is, I guess I'm a hunter usually, but I'm probably overall better with my warlock, Sunsinger. Race and sex, I am a mixed ethnicity, white/Pacific Islander.
I meant your
sex,
guardian.
Sex,
not
yes.
You specifically.
Position and clan, I'm like versatile. I'm generally top, but who knows where I'm gonna be. I like to just accommodate. That's my position.
This is going well.
I have a 1779 trials elo. I'm very humble about it. Back to you, Swag.
Quick question: should I have gone over my demographics?
It was a suggestion. John took it very literally.
Okay, well, I guess I can go over my guardian
Go
stats.
ahead, Miguel.
John kind of showed me up there a little bit. I play all 3 characters. I play my warlock probably best. But I started out with a warlock, moved on to a hunter and a titan. Come around full circle. 2 of my characters are female, 1 is male. Don't judge me, but I think the gear looks better on females. I consider myself versatile, if we're gonna go that route, John.
It's a good route.
It's a good route. Okay, well, this podcast, I guess it's a little bit different than last week. 2 weeks ago. We missed last week, so we don't want to miss out on like the Crimson Double stuff, the special ammo changes. We're gonna hit that real hard next week when we focus on PvP, but we don't want to just ignore it. So we're gonna hit a speed round kind of last week, and then move into kind of the Bungie weekly update from last week, or this week of Bungie, excuse me, and then move into this week a little bit more detailed. So again, just a reminder, this was posted on YouTube. We'll hit it on the Immortalis Rising subreddit, r/Immortalis Rising, post on clan wall, all that stuff. So you'll be able to find it. So just a recap of Crimson Doubles then. Let's start. How did you guys like Crimson Doubles? I guess my feeling was that it started off great on Tuesday night, and it got progressively worse, and I don't know why. So I don't know if you guys have opinions on that, if you share the same opinion. But why don't we start? Go ahead, Miguel. Why don't we start with you?
I thoroughly enjoyed Crimson Doubles, actually. I didn't get to play it quite as much as others, but for what I did play, I thought it was really fun. The heartbreak buff was pretty intense. I had a couple of situations where I should have definitely died, and having the max armor, max recovery, max agility, plus speed reloads made a difference. I thought it was a different game mode from anything else Bungie's introduced. It could be compared to Trials in a sense, but I felt like it was its own monster. And then I think the fact that it had something to do with clan wars, and we were trying to compete for that, it made it pretty fun to me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not common. It is pretty common for loot tables to suck, so I didn't go in expecting much, and surprisingly I got all of the ghosts and my bounty son. So I was pretty excited. I mean, overall, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
That's good.
And this is coming from someone who's generally a cynic about, these live events that Bungie introduces. I'd rather pay for content than get stuff like this. But for once, I was pleasantly surprised.
Loka?
I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I mean, for some reason, some of the games were pretty laggy. The competition was pretty sweaty at sometimes. I think the reason it got progressively worse during the week is because the people that wanted to get in there and just get their loot did that in the first few days, and then the people that just wanted to PvP and doubles were in there the rest of the time. So you ran into more of the, the harder, sweatier matches and whatnot. I had a lot of fun running with some of the people, the people I ran with. I wish I could have got run with some other people too, but overall, I thought it was fun. Yeah, the loot wasn't great. I mean, I did get a couple ghosts, but they're no 320 ghosts. They were all like 310, 311, that kind of stuff. Got all the shaders, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's two of them.
To add on to what Loka's saying about it being sweaty later in the week, on Monday night, the last night that it was available, Bob the Blob and I, we went up against Murdaro, and if any of you don't know who he is, he's ranked number 1 in ELO, I believe. Am I right, John?
Yeah,
almost always. For trials.
He's a good 400 points above everybody else, I think.
Yeah, that guy is a beast with. I mean, I thought I was pretty good with Thorn and Firebolt, but I mean, I was dead before I even saw him coming most of the time. So definitely on point with that. It did get incredibly sweaty.
I wish it wasn't. I wish it was light dependent, but I know why they did that. It just sucks that Thorn was in there. I only used Thorn though whenever I ran up against a team that was using Thorn. It was kind of like fight fire with fire mentality.
What do you think, John? I know you have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you say that Loka, that the reason why they made it not level, affected by level advantage. I don't know why they do that still. I don't know. It's really frustrating to me that they continue to do this. If I had my way, I think I would just have all of the classic playlists have no level advantage, and then all the new ones would have level advantage. So it would basically mean that you can't use old stuff, because I don't really see the point of enabling the old guns in the old meta, and outside of just having here's a space to have fun with it, because I wouldn't mind going into the classic playlist and getting destroyed by a Vex Mythoclast or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just tired of. I'm tired of I got really, really tired of getting destroyed by Thorn, and it was really apparent how annoying that weapon was when you could be in a playlist where it's you and another guy against 2 Firebolt Sunsingers that are both using Thorn, and it's Elim style. That is just a profoundly unpleasant experience to me. And so I mean, I'm not saying that you're advocating for it. I'm just saying I don't understand. I don't know why they would think that's a good idea.
I mean, basically, I think they did it just for the casual, so anybody could get in there and not have to be dependent upon light.
And that's fair enough. Although, I mean, it is I think we've said that. I mean, Elim is kind of it is not casual. It's a weird mode to say that this is going to be the casual one. It's a strange choice.
Yep.
So, but I will say that I really thought that the Heartbreak mechanic was really interesting. It really made you think about, do I want to revive or do I want to try to stick it out? I thought that was brilliant, and I think it's a good mode. I think it should be in the playlist. As a rotating. I think Crimson is as interesting a mechanic as Mayhem or Inferno, and I think it would be nice to see doubles as a playlist more often. So I guess I'm glad in that sense, because we had some people in the clan who ground out 100 doubles matches for their Grimoire, and good on them for doing that. It sounds like torture to me, but I will totally give them credit for that, because that's cool that it counted for that and people could get that done. So I'll say that was nice, and that the mechanics were really smart, but the way that they structured it is very strange.
Right. For me, it was strange because I had a blast on the first night. I played with Lucy. We played 20 matches in the first night, and we had a blast. And at one point, we were playing really, really well. And you're absolutely right. That Crimson mechanic is a blast, especially with the last word. Because it was almost, if I had last word equipped, it was almost I'm not reviving. Because you could spray bullets so fast and reload so fast.
Yeah, so many times I'd get doubles with, like double downs with my Doctrine, because you could just spend half the clip on one guy and the other half on the other guy. Yeah, and that was it. It was like, it was amazing.
So, it's an interesting mechanic. Unfortunately, they only gave us like one, I guess, quote unquote quest where you had to play 7 matches. There was no like, come back and do this or come back and do that, get headshots as a team. I would have liked to see that a quest was picked up as a fire team, where you cool. Enter the tower together as 2, and you pick up a quest, and that quest is broken if you leave the fire team. I think that would have been really, really cool. And it wouldn't be limited to just one. Like, if I did the quest with Loka on Tuesday, and then I joined up with Miguel on Wednesday, I had done the quest on that character, but Miguel had not. It would not eliminate Miguel from doing the quest. Like, and again, coding development, I have no idea. That's not my forte. But I think
can't get you to like fist bump properly with the emotes.
Right,
so.
That also too, they can't do that. So, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is, you know how when you go into your menu, that little ... comes up. All you gotta do is put that ... and make it go like from light color to dark color. You just gotta time it. That's all you have to do.
Right.
But anyways, that's beside the point. So I really do like that. I think Loka brought a great point last week and prior that they could have done it in strikes. They could have done two-man strikes, and if one person went down, then you got the Crimson buff. That would have been cool.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. So, there were definitely some options for sure.
There's some options, but they focused on PvP, and it was fun, and it gave us like the first glimpse into no special, which is where we're headed next. So that was the doubles no special. And then we got, a couple days later, we got trials with no special on Rusted Lands. So, John, how did you feel about the no special in their respective playlists?
I can't say that it's made a really huge difference. It does tend to slow down the roll in the very first round of both of those playlists, so people could pick up special. But of course, you have teams that are rushing in, with a Mida or a last word or something, and kind of subverting that. So there is, I think mechanically it's interesting because it adds just another kind of twist to the equation. And I guess the other cool thing is that it's getting people to use weapons they're not used to. And as a person who really loves like to use all different kinds of weapons, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that people are super bad with sidearms, and so I can destroy them with my sidearm, and I really, really like that. So that's a great change with here. People using weapons that they're garbage with. That's great.
Right. They seem to be using the sidearm to get ammo. Meanwhile, you had used the sidearm to get ammo, but also to kill people with.
To murder their faces. Yeah. Yeah. So I do like that. I think it's I can't really say that it's been the most productive thing, but I just do appreciate another wrinkle to the equation. And anything that kind of switches things up a little bit is nice, I think.
What do you think, Loka?
I just remember at least in the Crimson doubles, it was like either you died too quick and not get special, or you killed them too quick and didn't get special. And then you're like, I need special. I remember like running around a lot in the doubles, and it was with the light level thing not enabled or whatever, people were using, of course, the sniper rifle, icebreaker to get ammo, and the I did. It's tough. I think it's a good mechanic to have. I just think you just have to take a minute to go, get the special, but at least let your teammate know, because there was times when I went to grab special and my teammate would, engage and be like, pull back a little bit, like, because I'm not there, type thing.
Right.
The team, and if you do happen to wipe the team and pick up special, you can just start snowballing it.
I did notice that, because now you've got them at range, but we talked that ad nauseum last week, and we'll probably talk it more next week.
Yeah.
What do you think, Miguel? How do you like the no special on spawn?
I can appreciate it to an extent. Um, I just, for me, I have a much more in-depth opinion of the whole like taking away special at the start of matches. And it's kind of it goes along with all the other changes they've made to weapons, and it just feels like you get enough people to complain about something, and Bungie tries to fix something that's not broken. Um, I
Right.
think it just if people were more willing to admit that it's lack of skill versus weapons actually being overpowered,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have to have changes like taking away special ammo. I mean, it's so simple, really. Just even running trials, whenever special was a thing at the beginning of matches, you know better than to run into a sniping lane, at the very start.
Right.
But no, I mean, it did change how Crimson doubles felt overall, and it was fun. It wasn't as stressful. It didn't feel as sweaty initially, so I can appreciate that aspect of it. But at the same time, I also do wish that things could just remain the way they were.
Right, right.
But
I think there are two discussions. There's one, it's like how does it actually affect the game? Which I think, I think probably most of us would agree it affects the game in a positive way because it just changes things and we could use changes. But like there's the meta commentary of like, does this actually fix the problem that they wanted to fix? And I think presuming that we know what problem they wanted to fix, it doesn't. And I think that's another discussion entirely
Right.
because people really definitely have an opinion whether or not this like whether this affects how like the dominance of snipers, stuff like that, and that's I think it's an entirely different discussion because I think as it is it's not a bad mechanic, but I don't know that it fixes anything really. But that I mean that's a far more nuanced conversation, and it's like and it's
Definitely.
also it's presuming a lot about what they want to fix. I don't know that we fully understand like why they did this.
No, and I think the quote, and I mentioned it last week. The quote was that they want to increase the use of primaries, which I understand because I almost exclusively use my sniper during trials, and then they want to slow down rounds, and for the most part, in round 1 and 2, maybe they do that. So I don't know. What do you give them, a 2 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5?
Yeah, they made some
They
progress
made
towards
some
their
progress
objective,
toward
but
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but they lose points for the icebreaker problem, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I think that's overblown though, because like a
yeah,
lot of times, you equip Icebreaker. I guess if you stay safe the whole time and the round lasts for almost a minute, you get all 6 charges. But realistically, first round you get maybe 2 or 3. If you die, you get only 1 or 2.
right,
And when you switch, you only have less than 10, and so you still have to worry about special drop. You still have
sure,
to you can't protect an orb as voraciously. You have to go and grab some special every now and then.
that's
So
true.
I think the Icebreaker thing is a little bit overblown. Also, like it basically means that unless you're just really good with Icebreaker, you effectively don't have a secondary during the first round. And if you start using it, you're limiting the amount of ammo you're gonna get the second round. So there's some nuance to that conversation. I think
That's
that's
true.
not really being discussed. But it is an issue. I just don't know how they would fix Icebreaker
Right.
because
I'm more
that's a
upset
different problem.
that it's a year 1 weapon. If it was year 2 and that was the solution, I think I would be okay with it because then they brought it forward for a purpose. They
Right.
haven't brought it forward, so it shouldn't be in year 2 mechanics, in my opinion.
Right. Well,
So, and that's
last night we saw
did
in
see
trials
that.
we saw someone using a good old Dreg's Promise for ammo generation. So there's a lot of abuse of year 1 weapons. I'll
There
say
is. We did see that.
pure abuse of really powerful year 1 weapons like Dreg's Promise.
So last week was
I have said actually commented on someone's Reddit post about this last night, and my thoughts on like bringing your own weapons into trials is you can't successfully take an icebreaker into King's Fall hard mode. So you should be able to bring it into trials, and have fun with it. I don't think that a 170 sniper should be able to one-hit kill, even if it is a headshot. A 315 light level guardian.
right.
Yeah, agreed.
But
I don't agree, but that's fine.
You don't agree that it shouldn't a headshot on a 170 shouldn't kill somebody in trials?
I don't agree. I think why would a sniper not kill with a headshot? I think a headshot should kill almost anything with a sniper. regardless of what sniper it is, regardless of what impact tier it is, regardless of what light level it is. That's how I feel. But I don't feel that snipers are inherently broken because they're serving the exact use case that they're supposed to serve, which is a precision weapon that requires finesse and practice. But that's just my opinion. I think that I would not hate if they just didn't allow your own weapons in trials.
Right.
I would not hate that at all. That I think that is for me much more valid discussion. But I don't really necessarily know that icebreakers shouldn't kill with a headshot. It would be nice if maybe they decrease the impact to a point where if you're max armor or something like that, you could tank a icebreaker headshot. I could accept that, but just that it could just not kill a 300 whatever with a headshot. I don't know about that. That's a little weird to me.
Right. Because then you're strictly using it for ammo. It's no longer.
Well, I was gonna say I can actually agree with what you're saying. Snipers do require certain finesse and skill, so you should be rewarded for having that finesse and skill. So I definitely agree with you on that part. Snipers should be able to one-hit kill, but in a game mode where light level is supposed to make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's a much broader problem, that light level does not make a difference in almost all cases, except for the raid. The raid is the one exception, right?
The raid is the exception. No, you're right.
That is the exception, but otherwise, Iron Banner, Trials, probably Nightfalls. Like you can carry like a minimum level guy through a Nightfall easy.
Easy.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weirdly inconsistent. I guess that's my issue. And sorry to talk over you, but I couldn't.
No, you're okay. I ended up agreeing with you, but no, I did that. I guess I worded my my opinion wrongly, but yeah, it should just be a light level should make a stronger difference than it currently does. It really has nothing to do with weapon skill or which gun you choose to bring in. It's just and the overall spectrum of things.
Yeah. Like old weapons should just not be competitive.
Exactly.
That's what it should be. You shouldn't be able to bring in I've seen limited reports of this, but whenever someone says I just got destroyed by a messenger, that should not be a thing. You should not be able to be killed by a messenger in trials, even if it takes 4 bursts or whatever. You shouldn't. The time to kill for that should not even be close to a year 2 weapon. That's stupid.
So last week was Rusted Lands. This week is Exodus Blue. So we're 2 weeks in a row on Earth. What do you guys think of Rusted Lands? I think for me it was really interesting with the special changes because the map is so heavily divided. There's just a giant line of buildings drawn down the middle, so you didn't have to engage until special was up.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It was really hard to if you were in A spawn, it was really hard to rush into C spawn and actually tilt them because you could if you're good you can kind of pivot anywhere in C spawn,
right?
And get that special first round, and C spawn has I think a little bit more accessible options for special. I think the tunnel is a little more accessible.
Tunnel's
I think
accessible, and
B special is more accessible, and C hallway is also more accessible than almost everything else because A spawn special is in the middle of nowhere. To get down to tunnel from A, garbage. Can't get to B. Maybe you could fight for C. It's that map it was a really interesting map for the first week of no special.
Right.
Especially since I really do feel like it was more of a sniper map too. Even though you could kind of avoid sniper lanes, so many rounds timed out, but it is a sniper map. So it was interesting in that sense. I saw a lot of no lambions. I saw a lot of icebreakers, a lot of people not getting headshots with icebreakers. And so it was interesting in that way. I think it gave people a chance to say, oh, maybe I need to practice with no lambion, or oh, I need to practice with icebreaker, or oh, maybe I shouldn't use icebreaker.
Right, maybe I should look at a sidearm that's a higher light level at some point.
Right, exactly.
Loco, what'd you think? You had some success on Rusted Lands last week.
Yeah, I finally got my first trawless.
Congratulations.
Flawless trial. Yeah.
Ooh, congrats.
I can speak English. Thanks to Ballsy and Liam. They helped me get my first flawless in year 2. On my hunter, who hasn't had a flawless yet. The other 2 Titan and Warlock I got in year 1, but
Perfect.
so far in year 2, this is the only one I have not gotten a flawless on. Special, yeah. So what John's point was saying is, yeah, C you could get your special. You had more access to special that was more easily attainable without getting domed, compared to like A, especially if you jump up to that. I don't know what they call that one near the water tower. That one special up on the stairs there near the stairs. That was a little risky one to grab. And then you have, I think, then the tunnels one is scary. Like, don't go tunnels.
Yep.
Just a scary one. I don't know, it's a fun map for trials. I think it reminds me a little bit of Widow's Court. Earth, a lot of old stuff, sniper lanes, whatnot.
Yeah, lots of interesting flanking potential on both of those
Yeah.
maps.
It's a different, like somebody, like when I was running with Liam and Ballsy always liked to push B, Liam liked to stay C and watch that lane. So that was, different ways to play it. And then we got rushed from B and we got rushed from C, and there's, during the whole trials card, a lot of different tactics people could use. Fortunately, I did not get an Adept Doctrine of Passage, though. I got a Water Star, but it was 320.
Nice.
So.
Oh, well, it's just 320. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
What did you think, Megan? Did you play a bunch of trials last week?
Yeah, I did. I have mixed feelings about Rusted Lands. I've had success, and I've never gone flawless on that map specifically, but I've made it to 7, 8 wins.
Yeah,
never
we got
quite that
to 8
ninth,
wins, didn't we? On
we did
Monday
with
or
Jonak,
Sunday?
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't love it quite just yet because I haven't gone flawless on it, but I do think it's a fairly unbalanced map. I think that the numbers that Bungie released several months ago, when it was the map the first time around, that no one spawn was safer than the other, I don't feel like that was accurate. It feels like that kind of map where if you play it smart and you stay on C, once the point comes around, unless you're going up against highly skilled snipers, you've pretty much got that round in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So they could maybe balance it a little more by moving the point, I don't know, say in the tunnel.
That would be interesting.
It would just make it a lot. Yeah, it would make it risky because then you're not, counting on that timer to come up, and you can be sniped while you're standing in there. So you just have to play it a little bit smarter.
I don't really
think
know
by
why they
moving
don't
the
make
point,
it B flag. I feel like it should be B flag. I don't know why they flip it over to the other side of the building. It's really strange.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, other than the capture point being in that weird spot, I think it's a fun map. I think it kind of caters to a lot of play styles. You can either come in pretty aggressively through a flank, or you can sit back and snipe. So I'm, other than that point, I'm not too, I'm not too butthurt about that specific map.
Right. It always seems to be the team you shouldn't lose to is the one that hurts the flawless, right?
Yeah.
Blink shotgunners.
Yes,
That's it.
blink
Shotgunners on that map. I think people were like, yeah, we don't have all this special, so let's get out our invectives and start blink shotgunning. And that was one lesson that a lot of people learned, is to do that, which, I mean, it worked half the time, didn't work the other half the time. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's broken. It's just, man,
Right.
you can't deal with that. It's so hard to deal with that, even now.
So anything else on Rusted Lands you gotta think of? I know it's last week, but I figured we'd bring it up since it might come up again on the playlist.
If it does, let's hope that they move that capture point.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on to this week at Bungie from, I guess, 2 weeks ago. They are announcing content drop. They announced that in spring there will be an update. Will be the biggest since The Taken King. They announced that there will be a fall content release, which I think is very important to note the way they express the difference between those two in words. An update versus a content release makes me think free versus DLC. And then they announced Destiny 2 will be released at some point in 2017. So, thank God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people. It's really weird because I'm mostly a PvP person. There's a lot of people that are like, man, we really need some PvE content, like so bad. The thirst is real, because all that people have right now is grinding up to 320, and that's a slog, and I'm pretty sympathetic to that. So I'm glad that we're getting some PvE content. I'm glad that there's just plans. I think there's just been such a like an undercurrent of just people being really nervous, like, oh, what's gonna happen? Are they abandoning Destiny? And it's glad to hear that they're not, and they actually have a roadmap, and and that we know it, and it's not a secret. so,
Right.
so I'm really stoked.
My biggest concern with this content is that they just have a little bit more lore that they pour into the actual gameplay itself. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Book of Sorrows. I love reading on the Grimoire, but I'd like to see more of it in game itself. So, if we could have just more mentions to Osiris, or maybe be more specific on who Eris refers to as her queen, just something a little more substantial. I think I could really appreciate that in new content. So I look forward to seeing some of that.
Eris refers to somebody as her queen.
Yeah, at the end of the Taken King storyline, she said something about my queen, and it's speculation that she's talking about Marisov, but, there's been rumors on Reddit that she's talking about one of Oryx's sisters, and how she's, like, Hive now, and she has her own worm. So, there's just a lot of interesting theories that people have built, and I'd really love to see Bungie kind of explain some of those in-game itself, instead of just letting us read about it in Grimoire.
Well, maybe this makes me like a huge nerd, but like I wish they would just make a novelization, because like really they should. That too. They do it for so many other game franchises, and like they need to either do it one way or the other. What you're talking about, make it a little more obvious. I mean, I totally appreciate this whole like telling a story through objects, through found objects, through the environment. I get that. Like I like Dark Souls. Like I'm there. I'm with you guys. That's fine. But a little more blatant story, or like have me read a book, and so I could actually kind of learn what the hell everyone's talking about, because you just said a bunch of stuff I don't know what that means. I've read part of the Book of Sorrows, I didn't know what that meant. Like all this stuff is a little just too crazy for me, and so like I just would like a novel with characters that speak words that I can understand, and that can be enjoyable as opposed to a chore that like makes an investment that makes me enjoy the game more, because that's like a little too many steps. I just want to enjoy something. So give me a book, or give me some more blatant story, please.
Maybe it's a year two. Maybe it's a Destiny year 2 thing.
I think
I think the whole Grimoire thing was just added on, like because I didn't know that they scrapped the initial story. Somebody was telling me about that last week, but they were saying that they had to scrap and rewrote the whole story. So I think maybe the like Grimoire thing was like an add-on. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do with all this stuff? Oh, just throw it in here. Like,
right. It's just weird because like I'm a big Halo fan, and they have like 20 books, and I read all of them, and now I understand what the hell is going on in Halo.
They hired that BioWare guy, right? He's a writer or something.
That's true. Yeah, they hired the BioWare guy.
Maybe you get your wish with him coming on board.
I hope so. Because like I mean, that's another franchise that's crazy. It's not Bungie anymore, obviously, but like Halo 4 made no sense. They were talking about all these crazy words, capitalized words that you're like, what is didact? What is that? But if you read a book that says like this is what the didact is, and here's him talking to some other Forerunner thingy, then I know like what is going on.
Right.
But as it is now, I'm just like, you don't have to make a novelization of the story. You can like talk about stuff in the universe, and then it'll make me understand the story a little more. That kind of stuff. That would be really nice. But I'm a huge nerd, and I read 20 Halo books, so maybe I'm alone on this.
No, you're not. I read the 20 Halo books as well. So
yeah. I didn't read any Halo books. I only ever played the single player missions.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand, so I needed to find out.
Yeah.
Why did they make these things? Why is there life on a metal object in space? What is going on?
Yeah. And they're pretty good. Actually, like some of the writers that worked at Bungie, or the exact same writers that wrote the books, and they're really good, like sci-fi authors that I've read books and other franchises for. So like if you actually like sci-fi books, like Halo books are not that bad. And if you like Halo, you should read them. But I just wish there was a Destiny one. I don't know how it hasn't happened yet, because like BioWare has written books about Mass Effect, and those books are boring as all hell. And like Destiny could be a little more interesting, I think, than that garbage.
Right.
I think Destiny definitely has like a really good story to build on. There's just so much we don't know, and
Well,
I would definitely buy the books. I would read them.
it's the vagueness, right? You know, like
Yeah.
like I know it's a joke, and again, 2 weeks ago I said this. I don't mean to be like WTF Bungo, like that's not what we're here for. But like the darkness, the speaker, like these like vague, like anonymous, just like pronouns that just are the speaker, the stranger, that
Yeah.
we don't know who these people are, that they could be anybody in 3 years. So we don't
Right.
really have any information on them. We go, oh well, they could be Praedyth, or they could be the speaker could be, oh my god, now I can't remember her name, but the person who escapes from Fundament, who was eventually fighting Oryx. Like you could, there's so many things you could talk about, and that we can theorize, and it's a great story because there is really no factual evidence of this information.
Yeah,
Because
I
we're
think
just-
it would take so little to satisfy the thirst of these lore people
Right.
that seem to include some of you guys. I think you could just go into a story of like, what the Vex were doing on Venus or something like that,
Right.
and have it be very peripherally related to the game, years apart from it, but gives you some context and gives you some
Right. And there's
gives these planets some character, give these environments some character, because you can tell there's something there.
Oh,
You go to
definitely.
these places and you're like, there's a history here, but like I have no idea what the hell that history is.
Like my favorite thing, and I don't know if I was talking to you, Miguel, about it, or maybe it was someone else, but like the mission where you kill the fallen inside the underneath the school in Venus, the archive,
Mhm.
and you walk in and it says "Welcome, Doctor Whoever
Dr.
Shim."
Shim.
Oh yeah, we discussed that.
Yeah, like the rumor that you're Dr. Shim. Like that is
Oh,
like
that could be
like
interesting.
that alone is it literally is one sentence, and it built this huge theory, and
Yeah.
and then there's the lore that Cade was at that facility and was eventually at one point a human being and is now the first exo. Like those things just build off of each other, and it could be so easily satisfied because the Book of Stars was fantastic. It really was. And if you took the time to read it, it was hard because it was like reading a different language, but it translates really well once you sit down and read it. So I suggest for everyone to give it a second chance if you haven't read it yet. And so lore is a big thing, but
Like this is a real suggestion. I'm giving this to someone for free, and you can make money on this. Okay, take the Book of Sorrows, make a Kindle single thing. Right, you have the Book of Sorrows on one page. On the other page, you have the translation, exactly like those Shakespeare Cliff Note things. Do that. Explain things. Give me footnotes. Tell me like what is this thing they're referencing? I don't know what that thing is. Do that. Release it as a Kindle single, $1.99 a pop. I'll buy it. There's your money. Like, do it. Like, and I'm sure Bungie would be totally fine with that. Do it. Like, and it's a fan novel. People do this all the time. Help me understand this stuff because that's like money on the table for you.
I mean,
all right.
my name is Bife, the YouTube guy who's on Guardian Radio. He did a whole YouTube clip about the first half of the Book of Sorrows
He did.
Dope.
with pictures.
All right, that's a suggestion. I'll take it.
Yep. It's free.
Shout out,
$8.99.
Bife. Shout out, Bife.
I would pay money for it. I would like to throw my money at things. So that's what I'm saying.
Getting back to the content roadmap that they kind of laid out, sort of like, oh yeah, there's stuff coming. The spring, now that's pretty vague. I mean, that's between March
and May.
June, up until June.
Yeah, up until June.
I'm hoping it's closer to March, but well, I guess we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
As Lucy had a comment about the content coming, she hopes that it's as big as TTK. I don't think she'd have anything.
I can't imagine it will be. I think it's like a half step type thing.
Let's say that again in the microphone, please.
We gotta
He hopes that it's not too little, too late for the content drop. But I don't think it is because I mean people are still rating. unbelievable.
And people want to play the game. Like we haven't
Yeah.
run away from it. Like we still want to play.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. I wonder what they'll up the light level to. It'll be 340. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
At another rate, if it is the size of now they say it's the size of TTK. Now does that mean?
I think the quote.
Encompassing?
I think the quote is biggest since TTK.
Oh, biggest since TTK.
So I think
the way I read that is like less than TTK, but approaching it more than anything else is approached.
And bigger than SRL, Crimson Doubles.
A bunch of quests, 6-man raid. I guess.
Yeah, I could see like what I see as what that could be is if they're gonna do we're gonna update the raids to current light level or whatever. That's what I would guess it is.
Okay.
Because that is major. It's definitely bigger than anything else they've ever done, but it's not a fully new expansion or something like that.
Right.
So that's that. I mean, that's what I would guess if we're taking bets, but that would be significant. That'd be enough, I think, to get us through a couple months. I think.
If they update the old raids, that means get your flawless raiders done now while you can.
That's actually a very good suggestion. I need to get on that.
If they updated Crota to being light level 320, you're gonna be like, oh god.
There is nothing that Crota could. I could not go back to Crota, even if they gave me money for doing Crota. I like doing it for fun, but it's just.
We're recording this. This is a recorded medium in which we can take that quote, and when this comes out and they update Crota, and you're doing it all day long, I'm gonna play this for you, and I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna say.
But that's the thing, though. I will not play it all day long.
Okay. This is recorded.
This is recorded. 220.
Okay.
No, Crota is that kind of raid where, like, if it's super easy, yeah, I'm at it all day long. But it's just thinking back to, like, all those hours on hard mode and wiping, like, when the sword bearer only had 1 slash left. And it's just, I got really frustrated with Crota a lot.
When's the last time you did a 2+ hour raid?
Tuesday night.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a random thought. Just a random question that has nothing to do with anything.
So they have the content come out in spring, then they have probably another one near what, Christmas?
I would guess fall.
September,
October.
Okay.
Yeah, that would take the place of D2 scheduled
Right.
release.
And then what, quarter 1?
Late quarter 1, I would imagine.
For Destiny 2?
For Destiny 2.
And I'm pretty. I want to see what they can do with by dropping the old consoles. I'm so excited to see okay, we got rid of PS3, let's open up this more with the the hardware of the PS4, even though the PS4 will be like 3 years old by then. How much more they can do with the game if they can incorporate the Grimoire stuff like John's suggesting into the game more. Put more things into it where you're not just, looking outside of the game to read things about it and whatnot. Up in the graphics if that's possible still, which I think it would be with the PS4 compared to the PS3.
Right.
Instead of making the, giving us new areas each time, like when an expansion comes, instead of just recycling the old content by making you run backwards through it. Which is a really annoying thing to me.
It is, but it does change it. You realize that, right?
It does.
It totally
but then you realize you're running through it backwards. And you're like, why?
Where the hell?
Why don't I get a new, dot on a map or a new patrol area that opens up on, Cosmodrome somewhere for new content instead of just running backwards through it type thing.
I feel like they're moving in the right direction, like with some of the missions they added in the Taken King, where you can deploy turrets. Of course, who cares that you can deploy a turret? But it signals to me that they're aware that they need to take these maps that they've already done something with, and if they need to reuse it for reasons, like practical reasons, they need to do something to add some variation. And while that's not a big variation, it signals to me they're aware of it, and that if they continue to do this, maybe they'll add more stuff different kinds of objectives or different ways to kind of change the environment but keep it so they don't have to make a whole new level or something like that. I feel like that's in the future, even if all I have to go on is that you can deploy a turret on
the implementation
Taken.
The implementation of the new enemies well, not new, but using more than one enemy type on the same mission is a great example. And it really does extend the life of the gameplay, in my opinion. Like, running 3 Nightfalls and getting 2 or 3 different enemy types on a Nightfall that I'm willing to run, which is rare, I'll admit. But when I do run them, like I ran 3 Scion Flayers, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but like one we got Cabal, one we got Taken, one we got Vex, and I was like, it felt like a different strike every single time because the elements they use when they fight are different, and certain things will one-shot you out of, when you're jumping, or whatever the modifiers were.
Spawn timers are different. Yeah,
exactly.
Stuff like
So
that.
everything feels different because they simply just added a different enemy type, or 2, a combination of enemies, and it was great. So if they can do, if that's the path they're trending with, like the turrets and the modifiable worlds, I think that, again, I agree with you, John, that they're in the right area.
Yeah.
So what do you guys expect, realistically? John said bring the old raids up to new levels.
Yeah. Maybe PoE. Maybe making Crimson an actual playlist or something like that, or taking mechanics like that and adding a new. I mean, that's what they did with TTK. Is they added Mayhem, they added Inferno.
Right.
Maybe adding another one of those or 2 of those. Yeah.
They
Maybe
may bring
adding a couple
SRL back full time.
That would be interesting.
That would be
really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since they won't let me get rid of that stupid quest in my inventory.
which I know is driving you nuts as a completionist.
I have 3 quests, and one of them is SRL.
That's awesome.
And another one is that overcharge
Yep.
Red Bull thing, which I'll never do.
You could do that one, like get like 3 people and go do it. It's easier to do it that way. I haven't finished either of them, but I've come close to finishing one of those Red Bull things on a character.
Yeah, I'm thinking about tracking down Wolfwood, using my very particular set of skills to force him to log into my account and do that that quest for me, because I don't want to do it, and he's like a pro at it. So,
Look, I haven't heard your expectations yet. Your real expectations, not my
real
fanboy.
expectations of what the thing
of what spring brings.
If it's just recycled content with new light levels, I'm going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
It better be a new zone with a new raid. With either Fallen or Cabal. I think it needs to be one of those 2 things, or you're gonna really annoy people with the PVE, losing the PVE stuff.
but I feel like that is the fall expansion. I don't feel like that's the spring content.
Think
Is that what you're saying?
Unfortunately.
What's that?
Are you saying it better be a raid and a new zone for the spring or for the fall? Because for spring, that's the update little things, renewed dungeons, and then fall content is new raid, new environment, new modes, stuff like that.
I hope it's spring. I couldn't imagine them waiting until fall to do that. Actually, both should include a new raid, 6-man content, or some kind of.
But that's not their history though. Like,
No.
I mean that it seems unrealistic to me.
When they gave us a new 6-man in December, after 3 months after they released, the game.
Yeah, that's true. I
just think
I feel like unless it's a paid expansion, they're not really going to give new content that's not brought by the live team. If I'm being honest with you, I don't see them saying, "Hey, here, look, like this is an entire new zone and a new raid that we've been working on, and we're just going to give it to you. You don't have to pay for it." I mean, they make us pay for like emotes and cosmetics. I mean, as awesome as it would be to, for like a free DLC, considering, a lot of us have put a lot of money and time into this game, I don't see the spring update bringing much more than like old content brought forward and, old exotics that are still in year 1 to be brought forward.
Exotics, right? Yeah, I think that'll be spring too. Yeah.
Right. I want things to go after in the spring. I want like a set of emblems. I want a set of gear, even if it's just cosmetic. I want something to go after. I want if they bring up old raids to new content levels, I want there to be and even if it doesn't have to be exotic, but if it's like a different thing. Like it's like, what do they call it in Borderlands? Pearlescent pearls. Like if it's like a different like version, a different like quality type. So there's a pearlescent piece of gear that drops in VoG, and it's really rare. And it's the helmet. So you get the VoG helmet, and then you get the Crota chest piece, and you get the PoE legs,
That'd be dope.
And you get the cape from King's Fall. And it's a totally separate gear, and it fluid and matching, and it's a full pearlescent set. That would be something I would legitimately run. I'd run 5 raids a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I would run on a consistent basis. I would go after that stuff, and I'm not looking for 320s. And I would hope it would be infusion. I could infuse it. I'm not looking for it to drop it forever. I'm just looking for it to drop, really, to be honest.
Right.
Because that's something we've been looking for since even before House of Wolves. Is that 2 pieces of gear would drop from VoG and 2 would drop from Crota that you could pair together as a set, and you had the hard mode set.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the very least they should add updated sets. Another thing, in addition to what you're talking about, I think that would be really cool. But like the King's Fall raid added, I think, another level of perks and things that really benefit you in the raid. Whether that's the instant reload on the weapons, or like some of the run faster while you're using the relic.
Right.
I know that existed in the older raids, but like I felt like that stuff didn't matter at all. And in this one, I feel like it matters at least a little bit more, and it's a little more creative. And then there's ones like in trials and stuff that, like when you are respawned, you move faster and stuff like that. I feel like they could get a lot more creative with that stuff and make you want to have like a full VoG set when you're doing certain quests or when you're doing
like
certain
a
content.
set bonus?
Yeah, like a set bonus,
would be great.
or really like unique things that are kind of inspired by Vex ideas, like that. I really think the weapons that reload themselves are really cool. Not that I would use almost any of them at Quilum's Terminus, but I think it's a really cool idea. And what if there was something like that was
Right.
Vex inspired, with Vex looking weapons and stuff like that? Like that would be really cool. I mean, of course, Crota is also Hive, so I don't know how interesting those could get, but I think there's some room there to be creative within the kind of the boundaries of what the old content is, and I'm hoping that they don't just do reskin, different shader,
Right.
Higher light level, but exactly the same as it always was, because that will be disappointing. But they have done some stuff in TTK and whatnot that makes me think that they have some potential to do something at least 10% more interesting than what I expect them to do, and I hope that they do that.
Right. So we'll see what happens. I think for me, and I don't expect this in spring. I don't even expect this in fall, to be honest. But the easiest fix is to keep the community focused is custom private matches for PvP and a Forge mode in PvE.
Oh yeah, custom private matches. I think Forge mode is a pipe dream.
I think so too. And you couldn't call it Forge mode, obviously. I think it's copyrighted by former Bungie, which
Bungo.
is now owned by
Bizarro
Microsoft.
Bungie.
Yeah, Bizarro Bungie. So
343 Industries. Yeah, it's
343. You're probably right. Yeah, 343.
Probably them. Yeah.
So I think Forge mode is probably a pipe dream. But if there were like a community focused raid like that, I mean, content would be endless. The community would take over the game, and Bungie would just have to update patches on a regular basis.
It's already their strategies for so many other things.
Right, it is. It really is.
So why not?
Between like 100.io and these other third party functions that we utilize and so many other people utilize, Discord, chat, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's really give the game to us and we'll play it. Just keep it up, like upkeep it.
Yeah.
Really.
Like literally 50% of what I enjoy in the game nowadays is not even like original Bungie content.
No.
It's Twitch streams, it's Guardian.gg, it's Destiny Clan Wars, it's all that kind of stuff.
Right.
The clan, which is, I guess I'll give them a little bit of credit for that, but we would have done this if it wasn't for their clan system. It's not that great.
Right.
There's all these things where it's like, I wish they would just
Right. Like I like shooting things. I like it more.
It shouldn't
when I'm
have to be
shooting things
50%.
with you. It shouldn't have to be 50. No.
It should. Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, so that's kind of the big thing, the big news. At least we have a roadmap. We got some more news in this week, this current week of Bungie, But let's talk about Clan Wars from last week. Look, if you want to touch on those two that we hit.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a cat being murdered. The Clan Wars. So we had Crimson Doubles, which was basically our return to Clan Wars. We missed the Iron Banner one because I didn't know you had to keep somebody in the clan has to keep an account logged in or log in every once in a while to the Destiny Clan Wars page to keep it going. So I've been doing that once a week at least. So Crimson Doubles was our return, and props to Raven, who I think was the top grinder, so to speak, in Crimson Doubles in the clan. We had good participation. I think out of the 93 members or so we had at the time of the start. So when Clan Wars started, it basically takes a snapshot of your roster. So those people are the only people that can contribute to the points. So there was people that were promoted and given a clan tag after the start of Clan Wars, so they didn't get counted, unfortunately. And I think if they did, we would have won. But to the Knights of the Phoenix Xbox clan, they also had that same thing happen to them. So who knows? They had more people become active later in the week. Like we were both sitting around on 60 something, and I sent out some messages to people that weren't active in the Clan Wars thing to try and get them to come back and at least play their 7 games, just to help us out. And some did. I think we went up over like 73. I think totally. I don't know, somewhere around there. But they had like 77 active, so they beat us by like 4 people. So we came in second place. Unfortunately, it would have been a nice one to have. I think would have been a neat one to win. I mean, it's just free internet points. There's no real. It's just bragging rights, if it's even that. But it would just been neat to be able to win that one. But the second one, the Vanguard Strikes, we crushed that. That was only a 3-day event. I think from what it was Tuesday to
Thursday morning or Friday morning.
Yeah. Friday morning rather. We destroyed that. Everybody got into the grinding the strikes things for various reasons. I think Bo was the highest.
Bo was by far the highest.
Yeah.
Bo had more points than like whole clans that were like at 6th and 7th place. So,
as you noticed, the Knights of the Phoenix guys weren't even on that list. I think they were down like 18th place because they're a PvP only group. So, right. Now they're up near the top for Clash, of course. I'm more interested to see like when Iron Banner comes back, how we do against them at that point.
That'll be interesting because I'm not sure if they're like PvP is different than like sweaty PvP.
Yeah,
like, are they like a Trials and Sweaties clan, or are they just PvP?
They were pretty high in the Trials one as well.
I imagine
the week before, because I mean I guess our first one in earnest was Crimson Doubles, but the week before we kind of tested the waters again, and we did pretty well, I think, for not really trying super duper hard.
Right.
But I think they were up there too. So I do think, they maybe are on the sweatier side. So we'll see what happens on Iron Banner. I think it'll be more of a toss-up.
Cool.
I sent a message to the founder of the Bungie message to the founder of the Knights of the Phoenix, congratulating them on their win, but I never heard back from him, which is unfortunate. I was hoping to hear back from him.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't check Bungie. I know they have they push like Facebook, I think, is their main form of communication for the clan.
Yeah, so they're all old people who use old technology like the Xbox to use Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out, Knights of the Phoenix.
Knights of the Phoenix. Dude,
I bet you can't even listen to this. You don't know how to use podcasts. This is the future.
Add me on MySpace. You'll be on my top 8.
Yeah.
So, again, Clash is live now. It's, I don't know, practice up for Iron Banner, I guess. That would be the main thing I would say. I don't know how you feel about Loka. I'm not going to push it on people to play Clash. It's hard. It's a hard playlist to get people into because Control is so popular and Trials is so popular on the weekend.
So bad at Clash. It's so bad.
You don't like Clash?
I think that's like the only one I'm a silver in
really?
In my Guardian LGD, because it's just I'm so bad at it. It's just there's no order. It's crazy.
It's so funny because you're a Slayer too, which I would imagine you would be fine at.
See, this
Slayer, because I think I exploit the flow of people through the map.
That makes
sense.
So
I can flank, I can catch one or two where I expect them to be, but Clash I don't expect anyone to be anywhere. and it's yeah, it's rough. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
There's
think
no
you should-
our spawn, your spawn. There's like where everyone is and where everyone isn't. Like
I think Clash should be played like you basically you control an area of the map,
Uh-huh.
kind of like and not roam. Like I think I don't like you more. I mean, you guys Slayer types might disagree, but I think like if you're a team, 6 of you hang out like basically you'd play it like let's say a Shores of Time. You hang back in C and B, and you basically just hang there and just let them come to you.
Oh
instead
no,
of-
I think you should play Clash as if you were playing Control. In my opinion,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
you go to the same spots that the points you want are, as if it were Control. So Shores of Time, you would guard B and C. Blind Watch, you would go to B and C, and you would shoot up the alley, and
Right.
you just you play it as if it was Control. And then the Slayer, like me, who's the idiot and goes into their spawn, you just have to call that out because the person who's in the back of the spawn is going to get shot in the back. You just have to let them know, like, hey, I'm in their spawn killing everyone. I don't know where they're going to respawn. And then everyone can go, okay, and like find a corner and just put your back against the corner so they don't spawn behind you. Like that's kind
Right.
of how we've always played it.
Right.
So,
Yep.
kind of some tips for Iron Banner Clash, but we'll touch on that in a minute. So I guess practice up for Clash if you guys get a group together. It's tracking losses, melee kills, and clan member bonus. So it's a weird, like not super high point clan wars right now. So we'll see what happens.
And take this opportunity. I mean, this was always like when I first joined the clan. This Iron Banner was my favorite time because it's a time where there's all kinds of lobbies going.
Constantly.
There's constantly like throughout the day, like even at the the worst times. I mean, granted, not like 3 a.m. Eastern time or something, but like worst times like 10 in the afternoon on a Monday or something like that. There'll be people playing still, and definitely just reach out to people. I don't want to see anyone soloing. That's there's not a need for that. Be social, and if you're not a social person, just join the party and contribute to the team and don't talk. How about that?
So this week at Bungie, this is the 2.18 version. This is from 2-3 days ago. They really didn't give us a whole bunch of information, other than they're working on their Twitch setup. Which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the news. Basically, what it sounds like is they did these former live streams where they revealed some gameplay and some social spaces during House of Wolves and The Taken King with community developers, content creators, including streamers and YouTube peoples, and put them on Twitch, revealed them on Twitch. So they want to do this more. It sounded like they got some feedback that people enjoyed this. The majority of people enjoyed these things. And they have, I guess, quote-unquote, broken ground. It doesn't look like they're building a new building. It looks like they're just remodeling a former asset that they have in the area to set up a almost permanent Twitch setup. So I guess my question, and we'll start with Miguel, because I know you're a big Twitch guy like I am. How do you feel? Did you like the old Twitch streams? How do you feel about the new Twitch streams? If they do decide to reveal content to us, how do you think it'll play out?
I only watched the House of Wolves. No, actually, I watched the House of Wolves and the Taken King reveal streams, and I actually really enjoyed them. I thought that they gave us good insight into what to expect. So I'm kind of excited to see them using Twitch as a form of communication. It certainly is better than the complete silence that we got, December through almost the end of January.
Right.
So this will be interesting. I hope that it's not just, hey, come watch us play while we give you the weekly update. I hope it's more like, hey, this is what the future holds, even if it's just like a 5-minute preview of like an up-and-coming strike or a new PvP mode. I mean, something to get the community hype going, I think would be awesome if they use it that way. I love Twitch. You learn a lot watching other people play the game. Watching people like Crafty and what's his name, the T-Rex. He's an excellent raider and a good PvP guy. They help you see, you're watching the game from someone else's eyes and how they do things differently. So I think Twitch is pretty cool.
Right.
And I think, Bungie was silly to not use this tool that they have to reach out to its community. So it's kind of exciting to see them using it now.
What do you think, Loka? How do you feel about the Twitch setup?
Yeah, like to Miguel's point, like how could they not have this already in their game studio?
Right.
Twitch is a pretty big. I mean, maybe deciding on one to use. I mean, YouTube's going along. I don't know. It just seems odd. I mean, I'm glad they did it because I did watch I think I watched the reveal streams for a couple, like for House of Wolves a little bit and for the Taken King. I don't know why you wouldn't not use it because it's the. I mean, the future's here, basically, kind of thing.
Right. Like it's the medium of communication.
It's immediate communication to your fans. Yeah. I mean, hopefully we get some stuff coming out soon for the spring update.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what else to say about that.
It's hard for me because I feel like they do such a good job of hyping it up, and then it's one of two ways happens. Either you get the Triple X situation where he totally shits on the content, like he just embarrasses Bungie developers in a 3v3 match, and kind of is like, it's fun. Like he really and maybe that's his personality. I don't watch him enough on Twitch, but like he just tore through the competition at Bungie, live on Twitch, and walked out of there like god tier, like legend status. And it was like, and he benefited from that. I don't think the content benefited from that when we first saw it.
Right.
Are you referring to the Twitch reveal where they revealed Trials and
yes, and
Triple Rec came in and destroyed them?
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. So, I think I remember coming out of that stream going, it looks like fun. I'll play it a little bit, and it's now my most played mode. Whereas I watched Prison of Elders, and Broman, who I watch pretty regularly, was hyped. Super hyped for Prison of Elders, and loved it. And not just Broman, but Holtzman and Dado, like these guys who went there and played it, not on stream, and just had content to reveal on their YouTube channels after the reveal happened on Twitch, discussed it and said, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to play it a lot. And then when we got it, it was not fun. I mean, it was fun the first 2 weeks, and then we found out that the modifiers don't change. So, for me, I want the communication, but I don't want it to ruin the content, I guess. And I don't know that that's fair of me to ask Bungie to do that. So it's almost like I just don't watch it. Like, if someone wants to watch it, they're welcome to watch it, and I should just not, to be honest. So I don't know. It's a tough split for me.
I feel like people who are already hyped about something should probably not pursue content to further hype themselves.
You're probably right.
Because like if you're already an 8, like what it'll take to take you to a 10 is going to be something obscene, and then you're going to be at 10 and you're going to be disappointed. Right. So just stay at 8 and just enjoy it, because right. I think these live streams are for people who know nothing, and they watch a live stream and they know slightly more.
Right.
And I think that's who this kind of stuff is for. But, I will be excited to see if they have, if they stream like their, Bungie bounties and stuff like that. That stuff is just goofy and fun. And I hope they bring in streamers. I'm not hugely into this stuff, but I do follow some streamers, and I hope they bring some people into that, because there's some good personalities out there, and they might as well, again, capitalize on the community and get some people. I think Triple Rect is kind of a weird example because
yes.
He is not. It's like he's not he's not the fun person to watch. He's the person you watch and you're like, wow, that's really impressive. But I think they need to get some fun people in there. I think Dado is included in that. I think Holtzman is included in that. People definitely people like that. I would prefer by leaps and bounds. So right. I hope that's their focus, is just fun stuff, a little bit of information for people who are not super invested.
Yeah, I want more Bungie bounties, because there's so random times of the day that I don't get to play with them as often or at all. Actually, I don't think I've ever been in a Bungie bounty at the same time.
I was I played like 30 minutes when it was Crimson Doubles. But
oh really?
Yeah, but I mean, I obviously didn't run into anyone.
No, yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think that It's probably more for the stuff you're talking about, John, like the more regular appearances, just like about their game, and kind of continue to do community outreach and show off the game and do giveaways and things like that. But it also sounds like they specifically mentioned, hey, it sounds like you like these live streams. Like in the This Week of Bungie, they say that. It sounds like you like the live streams, and we got some feedback, and we're going to try and work on something like that, etc. So it seems like they're kind of... And I imagine, to be honest, it's probably geared towards Destiny 2. I don't know that we're going to see anything in spring. It's probably geared more towards the fall expansion, which we expect to be a paid DLC and much larger, and then towards Destiny 2. So...
Yep. Definitely.
I will be honest, though, I found the best thing for me was to not watch the live stream and then listen to other people talk about it.
Yep. Same. Yep.
So
it was really hard to watch. Super, like they need to like hire a live streaming person, because I like Deej. Deej should write things, not be on camera. That's my honest opinion. I think he's super awkward. I think Cosmo's super awkward.
I like that he's awkward, though. He's like our.
I imagine that's endearing to some people, but to me, it's like there's a level of professionalism, and it's like it's not quite there, and they need to have someone who's a little more camera ready for that kind of stuff. So I hope they improve in that way as well, or at least do a little better job trying to figure out, like, prep people for this kind of stuff, or what have you.
Right. So the next two things, just touch real quick. You'll get your Crimson. They did an update. Apparently, nobody was getting ghosts in Crimson Doubles. I don't know who was talking about that, but 320 ghosts for all players who played 7 games in a row without suiciding. They'll be receiving a 320 ghost per account, either on 222 or 223. So that's Monday or Tuesday of next week. Mm-hmm. So they put a patch in. What was that? Wednesday? Tuesday? I don't remember.
Something like that.
They put a patch in. Just said you'll get your ghost.
It was Thursday.
Thursday? Whatever that was.
Yeah.
So they put a patch in, 2.1.1.3 or something like that. And you'll get your ghost. And it's 1 per account. Please don't look for 3 of them. You'll get 1. It is random in all cases, except it is 320. So grab your package.
I'll grab my package right now.
Grab your package right now? Okay. Dick joke.
Dick joke.
And then the last thing we kind of mentioned it, Iron Banner Clash returns on Tuesday the 23rd. It will be the focus of Destiny Clan Wars. They will be tracking something. We don't know what they're tracking yet. I apologize on Destiny Clan Wars. But the sniper and rocket launcher will be available from Lord Salad Bar, and then the helmet and gauntlets, both the regular version, Iron Companion, and Iron Camelot, I think, will be available for purchase. So we kind
save up those marks.
Save up those marks. I talked to John last night. I'm saving all my marks this week.
The sniper and rocket launcher are good.
Yes,
I'll say that much.
Is it a res sniper?
It is not.
Nope.
Yes.
No, it's not. No.
Oh no. Yeah.
Nope. But it's the same weapon manufacturer as what's it called? As the yardstick. So you're looking for similar kinds of perks. Amos's is super high. It's super like 80, high. I think. And so if you're gonna not have a res sniper, this is a good sniper to have. If you kind of like the higher rate of fire, bigger magazine size, like this is the kind that you want for sure. I have one. It's only a decent roll, and I like it a lot. You can get headshots like crazy. So you don't need hidden hand. Hidden hand's nice, but you could maybe try some other things in that, like hot swap or mulligan or unflinching or something, and have a more well-rounded gun that doesn't res snipe, but is still really good. And the rocket launcher is also pretty good too. Magazine size 2. Pretty high velocity, and it's good stuff for sure.
And we talked a little bit about Clash, but my suggestion for the game mode is stick together, or just make a decision: stick together or roam together. Don't do one or the other.
Yeah, roam or stick together.
And so trust me, we've tried to post up on a spot. And we're like, okay, we're all going to stand at C, right? And we're like, okay. And then this wave of enemies just wipes us. So like, okay, now we're at A. We're all going to stay at A, right? And they just roll over us again like a wave. And we're like, okay, what are we going to do now? Like, do we just run in a circle, the same circle they're going in? Because we're going to do anything? So both strategies will work as long as you continue to stick together. I think I prefer the post up as if it were control method because it's super frustrating to other teams.
Yeah.
And you have a better chance of getting, I think, the 1 versus 6
Yeah.
type scenarios when you have an area
Those
that
are
you're
great.
controlling the heavy and the special on.
Yep.
Although we do get special in 6s.
We do. You will spawn with special. So for those of you who flipped like I did, who flipped the tab on your boots from special to rockets, flip it back to sniper. That way you get 12 instead of 9 on spawn.
6.
6?
I think it's 6.
Is it 6? It must be. Yeah. It says 6. So flip your boots back. And so that is Iron Banner. Again, like John said, group up. Everyone will be playing. Your entire friends list will be one form of the Iron Banner emblem or other. I guarantee it. I'll be hosting parties. We'll split up officers and stuff like that. I would suggest holding on to your weekly bounties if you get them done until like Saturday or Sunday, and then complete them. Also, make sure you have no marks or enough space for marks, because that sucks.
If you can't play during the week very much, grab the bounties every day, because I can't remember how many there are. There's like 10 different daily bounties in total, and they kind of vary day by day. So like maybe Tuesdays there'll be 1 or 2 in common with Wednesdays, but if you grab them every day of the week, you can have all the dailies, and you don't even have to finish the weeklies if you're playing on the weekend to get max rank if you save those up, because they're a pretty quick way to get a ton of stuff. So
right, and you'll have duplicates. Like there'll be one day where you can only grab one, but just grab as many as you can each day. And
even if you're not gonna play, if you're gonna play, absolutely do them, because it's better to get to rank 5 faster because you'll get better drops if you play more. If you already know you're going to play a lot of Iron Banner, but if you're not going to play a lot, just grab those bounties and do them on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, guys? Suggestions on the Iron Banana?
No.
Grab the ghost. If you don't have the ghost yet, go into Salad Bar's thing and grab the ghost on the railing.
Also, make sure to wear your shader emblem in class items for maximum rep when turning in bounties.
Also good. Okay, so we'll move on to trials. This week it is Exodus Blue, as mentioned, another Earth map. It's an awkward map for me. I was expecting to run Sniper a lot more, and I really found myself essentially just using my Doctrine almost the entire time. It's kind of in that like perfect, it's close range, but I have enough kind of spacing to get like a good Doctrine range in. So John and I played a card last night, and we actually found out that it was almost a true 50-50 split for Shotgun Sniper.
Yeah. It's definitely got some lanes, obviously, some sniper lanes that are solid, but there's a lot of geometry that means it's gonna stop you from getting res snipes if the orb moves over or something like that. So you're gonna have to be a little pushier, and yeah, it's a great map for Doctrine, great map for Last Word. Great map for sidearms. I was using Null and Beyond sidearm, and there was a lot of ideal sidearm range encounters. Lots of good, if you have area control grenades, really good. Like if they push up into the C lane heavy, you can throw a lightning grenade, you could throw a spike grenade, you could throw a firebolt, you could throw any of those things and tag multiple people all the time, like from B or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting areas in this map, and I think a lot of people when this is a control playlist, they prefer C-Spawn, and C-Spawn is nice because you can look straight into the big tube. You can kind of you can look at train immediately. There's some good angles for sure, but I think A-Spawn actually has a slight advantage on this map because you have a little bit more room to choose where you're going to have your engagement. If you want to have it in B, if you want to have it in C lane, I think you have a couple more routes to get to those areas. So, but really, it's a pretty balanced map when it comes to the spawns, when it comes to the weapons. So definitely try some new things if you're not normally a shotgun guy. Maybe give it a try. If you're not normally, if you want to give your sidearm a shot, maybe this is the time. Stuff like that.
No, I agree completely. The tube is scary sometimes though, because you can literally, if you do spawn A, dance that tube, because they will absolutely be staring up into it from their spawn. Because you literally can spawn and pull your sniper out and look into the tube and be ready to snipe. Like, you don't even have to move. So just a heads up for that. And then that on the heavy, outside heavy, so if you spawn on C, it's the left side, A, it's the right side. That stairs head glitch is a motherfucker. So just if you feel pressure from the left side, like, I would really just retreat into C. That's what I've noticed yesterday. We lost 2 games in a row last night, and that's really where we felt the most pressure from. And I went back and watched some of the footage, and that's what it was. It was, I felt pressure, and I went to go and turn it and then do an engagement, and it was, I could see like the top of his stupid Titan head.
Yep.
So
yeah, those stairs are really rough. Like, we were getting a Mida out on that outer heavy, and there would be another person train lane, and there's some head glitches there that are really bad. So hopefully watch out for that.
Oh, did you get a chance to jump in? Oh, you were in a plane with problems.
Yeah, I was
stuff.
stuck on a plane.
Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't get to play last night either, and I haven't played today yet. Hopefully Lucy and I both can get in there. Lucy's looking for that doctrine. She doesn't have one yet.
That's big. Yes, I didn't put that in my notes. Doctrine, everybody. 7 wins. Doctrine. Counterbalance. Brace frame. Get it. Everybody.
Yep. And if you have no doctrine, any doctrine will be good.
Any doctrine. Rangefinder. What's the order?
I think counterbalance is number 1. Rangefinder is number 2. And then probably hidden hand rodeo
is number 2 or number 3, number
that
4.
order.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like, I think even a rodeo doctrine would outshoot almost every other auto rifle, and probably most hand cannons.
Yes.
So it's a pretty solid weapon.
Hold on to the doctrines.
Yep.
Also, Doctor is an acceptable form of I killed a guy.
Yep.
And brace frame. Max stability. I know you lose a couple bullets, but you still have 53 or 55 in the mag. Not a problem.
Yeah, you can use it like halfway across the map. It's stupid.
So, let's see. What else do we have on the agenda? Any other comments on Exodus Blue? I feel like Team Shot was the big thing when we got in trouble. It was Team Shot from Scouts.
Yep, Team Shot from Scouts and pulse rifles. I was getting destroyed by some PDX and Hawksaw on that map.
That's true.
So watch out for that. The mid range is really rough on this map.
So the next thing, we close just in general direction of the clan, State of Destiny. We got some great news from Bungie in the last 2 weeks, but as John put very, very eloquently, if you're at an 8, don't go looking to get to a 10. Stay at an 8. Feel good about yourself. Play the game. Don't play the game. It's just have fun. And we really don't have any info yet. Spring, fall, and 2017 are really, really broad time frames.
Yeah.
So just be careful on that. I'm hoping it's April, September, and March. I think is kind of what I'm thinking is kind of the plan. But who the hell knows? It could be October. It could be June for all I know. So, and then again, PvP kind of remains the focus. There are people raiding. I know. Shout out to Reaper. He's huge on Tuesday night, getting as much raid in as possible. I know he pushes for a triple clear. So if you are interested in a triple clear, please be prepared for that. Please have the 310 plus or meet the requirements. So that
shout out to Wivik, who's doing a fair amount of Sherpa style raids, which I really appreciate. So people who still don't have a total handle on Kingsfall, hop in with him. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He gets Bo in there sometimes. Bo knows what he's talking about. Those guys really a big help. And if you can help, I don't know how much help they need, but if you have time, definitely offer your help if you know what you're doing in the raid. And that's good, because I still feel like there's some people that need a little help on that stuff. So that's great. And then Destiny Clan Wars. That's really fun. We've been like the strikes. I never would have thought you'd see so many people on your playlist playing strikes. That was really cool, and strikes are fun. They're really, you don't have to get super sweaty.
We did strikes and Would You Rather, and that was a blast. And I think that we should make that
a
regular thing. That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was very fun. So while we're doing shoutouts, if I can shout out the CT and Liam, those guys teach all week long and help Sherpa on weekends. I just want to publicly recognize them for being awesome about it.
They're great.
Being super helpful with PvP.
Yeah, and CT and Liam and John too. Can't thank you guys enough. The Sweaty stuff is phenomenal because that was not as regular as it is in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it seems to be almost every night now. I know. What did you run? What was it, Thursday or Wednesday, John? You ran from 4 to midnight?
Yeah, there was one day where I was running like almost 6 hours continuously.
Yeah, so it was
whether it's me actually doing Sweaties or helping facilitate it happen. So yeah, there's not really a schedule right now, but probably the easiest time to get in would be during the day, and I know that's not accessible for everyone, but because you can match really fast and whatnot, and Chris and Liam are GMT, so they're a little earlier in the afternoon for us Americans. But we're doing Sweaties, 2, 3, 4 times a week, and that's around like 3 or 4 o'clock Central, or whatever the heck your time zone is. And yeah, it's really been good, and it's been a great way for when I'm running cards, when Chris is running cards, when Liam's running cards on the weekends. We're looking at people who are trying to get in on those Sweaties to play trials with, because those are the people who are showing real improvement. I think, because they're getting that practice in, they're getting tips, and they're getting more comfortable communicating. I think that's a big thing that people don't think about is, you hop on a card with someone you haven't played with before, and there's no talking. And it's a real problem when you're trying to, get some work done. And Sweaties are a great way to get people talking, get people on the same page on call-outs and stuff like that. So I would encourage anyone to join up. And I guess if you don't know what Sweaties are, it's just a way that you can kind of hacking the way the game's working in a way so that we can do effectively private matchmaking.
Yeah, force matchmaking, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, force matchmaking. We're forcing the matchmaking to pit a team of 3 against another team of 3, and that way we can have some of the experienced people play with some of the inexperienced people, do some elimination or skirmish, and get situations that are really similar to what you'll see in trials, and that way it'll be more of a learning experience as opposed to I kill you and I bag you, unless you're swag, in which case I do bag you. But you're not getting that that actual sweaty, that actual stressful experience. But you're getting a situation where you have to worry about Chris's red snipe, or you have to worry about your flank, and really get some good practice in. So I would encourage anyone to join. I mean, we're open to anyone, and if we're full at any point, you can still join the party, or let us know that you're interested. And if someone has to dip, we'll get you in there. And if not today, then tomorrow, and stuff like that. We're always looking for more people. We're always making an effort to get in different people. We like to get the same people in because it's comfortable and it's fun. But anytime there's a new person, we kind of try to make an effort to get them in so we can at least get this group bigger, and then I don't have to host everyone, or Chris or Ballsy, or we don't have to host everyone, and maybe you guys can do Sweaties on your own. So definitely get in, and it's a lot of fun. We sometimes use stupid weapons and people making dumb mistakes, and people doing really well. And when if you look at their stats, they shouldn't be doing really well, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And people having moments that are really, really great and fun. And every time you kill Chris, it's like you just had your first baby, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you in your entire life.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a lot of fun to see a clanmate on the other end of your scope. Even if you don't get a kill, if I trade with John, it's just fun to see him on the other end.
Yeah, it's really fun when I stick swag 100 times.
So
the salt is real.
So real. I can't deal with it.
Awkward silence.
Dead air.
Message from swag, probably.
What's up? I don't want to talk about the sticks. Please leave me alone on the sticks.
All right.
John,
That's
John,
a great way. That's
John,
a great time to start bringing this podcast to a close.
John stuck me 22 times in one match, I think. Just if anyone was wondering, John stuck me a lot. A lot.
Stuck you with what?
Stuck me with
fusion grenades.
Fusion grenades. I watched him stick permanent
Oh,
guest.
you weren't playing that dirty. I can't believe that.
I was. I literally there was at one point, and this is a quick anecdote because this is how Sweaties go, because you play with each other, and then once you play against each other, now you have these like mental conversations with yourself, and you put yourself in the situation of the person you've been playing with forever, and you go, oh, I just watched John throw a stick at guest and get him. I'm clear. I'm gonna push him with a shotgun, and then a fusion grenade hits me in the chest, and I'm like, he's running doubles. Okay, well now I know, and I just hear in my brain that stupid laughter that is John, and then that right there that everyone's hearing. So join up. Don't be afraid to join up. Skill and location is not an issue. We will always find someone who can match up. It's early, like John says, easier early in the day, but we will we'll consolidate and try and make sure.
The more people that play, the more we know those combinations, because to make things match up, you want people at similar skill levels that live close to each other. But we're finding new ones every day. Like I've matched against Blob, Raven matches against Bardock. We're learning all these things. People that don't normally play together, playing together, that kind of stuff, and it's really working out quite well.
And so, any other final thoughts, guys? I have one more, but I'll let you guys finish up.
No. I mean, to your point about matching up and whatnot, shout out to Wolf8 for updating the clan website.
Oh, yeah, clan website, the ELOs, that's great.
Yep. The ELOs. I think CT was the one that actually asked him. Chris asked him to add the ELOs for trials, and then I asked him to add the ones for Iron Banner just to show the difference.
Right, it's got the 3s and the 6s, which is awesome.
I thought Iron Banner was a good one since we do it as a clan. And also, shout out, happy birthday, Hawaiian. We're celebrating a birthday today.
Yes, that was my last point. Happy birthday, Hawaiian.
Oh, sorry.
Just turned 21. Got some hair on his chest. Having his first drink. Kissing his first girl. It's pretty transformative experience for Hawaiian today.
Excellent. So happy birthday, bud. Thanks for being a guest of the podcast. We'll have you back on very shortly.
There's no real as far as clan, just real quick with the clan updates, direction of the clan and whatnot, we're pretty much steady as she goes. We actually are near, if not maxed on tags. So if you're
maxed.
Yeah, we are maxed. Okay, so if you're a recruit, we are looking through the history of players that have been here and trying reaching out to see if they're still active in the game, if they're planning on coming back to free up some tags. We've had other discussions around that as to what to do when we need to give tags out to people. So there's things in the works.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, guys. So last couple things. Again, post on YouTube, post on the Reddit, r/Immortales Rising. Remember, log into DestinyClanWars.com to see your stats, where you rank in the clan, and where we rank as a clan. And
there's a link on the subreddit.
Yeah, link on the subreddit. I don't think we have a problem with this with anyone, but just a reminder, if you don't have your Bungie.net profile public, that's a problem, because they won't be able to track your Destiny Clan Wars stuff. And then change your name on your Bungie.net profile to the same as your PSN, and then get an avatar. Like I said it 2 weeks ago, and it still hasn't happened. Some of you get a goddamn avatar. I'm going to start calling you out in chat. And then, I guess last thing, thank you to Monster Cat for the opening and closing of the podcast. Shout out to them. My name has been Swag Monster. Thank you to you guys for being guests. And stay healthy.
Bye.